right here is, our goal is to build a very simple robot, very simple one. And we will also give you a simple base. So when you will build robot, then I think you will program it. So this goal has two parts basically. The first part is to build, that's the first part that we'll do it today. The only thing is the time limit right here. The time limit is 45 minutes. So the first group, I think hardly, there are 2 or 3 a team, they finish that. So 45 minutes might be need more time, so we'll give you 10, 15 minutes extra. But I think let's try to make it for 45 minutes. So that is the first part. The second part right here is the programming part. That we are going to program the robot so that it can go inside the maze and come out of the maze. That basically is the programming part that will start tomorrow. Okay, so today I think we'll do only the construction, only to build, but the second part I think we'll do it tomorrow.
Does it have to go through the maze, or can it enter and exit the same place?
I'm thinking of that box.
We'll show you the maze. That's a very good one. Okay, what we need to build basically a simple robot. That's basically a part, right? Some part. The first part that we need right here is basically a motor, servo motor. That's very, very important. Why? Because if you don't have a motor, the robot cannot run, cannot walk, cannot just move forward or move. So it helps. Basically, the motors are used basically to help the robot to move forward, to backward, or left side, or right side. That's the job of the motor. But somebody has to send a signal to the motor. You have to make a left, you have to make a right. That you will do tomorrow. That's programming part. And in this activity, we are going to use 2 motors, not one, but we are going to use 2 motors. One left motor and another one we need the right motor. So that's also a very important part. Now, if you have a time, because we have to finish 45 minutes, if you have finished earlier, you can also connect basically sensors on your robot. There are a variety of sensors, but I think in our activities, we are going to use either this sensor or this sensor. Now, this sensor is a touch sensor. It means that whenever it will touch to the walls of the maze, then as a programmer, you have to decide whether it has to move left side or it has to move right side. But what this guy will do, it will send a signal. Whenever it will touch to the maze, it's sending a signal to the processor. Then processor follows the direction, meaning that it follows your program. So that is, if you want to use it, you can use this touch sensor, and you can make a decision whether a robot should go left or right. Similarly, you can also make decision on ultrasonic sensor. Now, what it does, it will give the distance between the wall and the robot. Now, if you will say to the robot, look, move forward, go forward. If you will see the wall less than 10 centimeters, then you should make a right turn or make a left turn. So this one is also very important sensor that will give the distance between the object and the robot. So it depends on you whether you want to stick with this guy or you want to stick with this one. Use one. If you want to use both, that's also, you can also use both too. Then we also have a light sensor and a sound sensor. We are not going to use that one because the activity is only based basically a touch sensor or ultrasonic sensor. But if you guys want to use any light sensor, it basically measures the intensity of light. If you have a red tape or a red, line, it will recognize that one that there is a red line or the black line. So it will measure the intensity of light. Similarly, it can also measure the intensity of sound. We are not using it. If any one of you wants to use it, you can also use it as those sensors. Do we need anything else? These. Okay.
The processor.
That's very important because that is the heart. The heart of the robot right here is basically this guy. This is the electronics of your robot. That the processor is inside this box. Microcontroller is inside the box. Now this box right here microprocessor, it means it's receiving signals from your sensor, it receives signals from sensor, and it is sending out the signals to motor. Okay, so this is really very important. That's why we call it as heart of your robot. The processor itself, the microcontroller, is inside. So it will receive basically input signals from your sensor, and from there it is sending signal to your motor. So these four, we call it as input ports because these ports are used for sensors. So we are getting the information from the sensor by connecting basically to these ports, and we call these ports as the input ports. There are 4 ports, and these ports are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And each port has some default value. You can say that this one default right here is a touch sensor, this one right here is ultrasonic sensor. Now if you want to stick with the same, whatever we have, the setting, you can do it. But if you want to change it, if you want to take ultrasonic, put it here, you can also do it. But you have to change it in the software. If you don't want to change it, then use the default value. That is the first is a touch sensor, and this one right there is ultrasonic sensor. Similarly, once it will receive the information from the sensor, it also has to transmit to the motor. We also have an output port. So output ports are A, B, C. Okay, these are 1, 2, 3 numbered. These are lettered ports right here. But we are going to use 2. There are 3 ports, but we are going to use only 2 ports. That is B and C. Now the first one is A, the second one is B, the third one is C. Now we are going to use again the default setting. Default setting is select B here and C here. We also have another port. Anybody knows what this port was? This port right here? Very good. It means that this port is used to interface with the computer. So tomorrow we'll take basically computer and connect this robot, with the computer, but we need a cable that is USB cable. Is that clear? Input sensor and the motor, that is the output. What are these buttons for? Now definitely you have to turn it on. So in order to turn it on, we need the orange button. You press this button, your robot right here will be on. It means that it's ready to receive some information. So these guys right here, we call it as enter and on button. So you can basically turn it off, you can turn it on from this one. Now these 2 buttons are selecting the files. If you have multiple files and you want to select one of the files, then you can select from these 2 buttons, whatever the files that you want. And you also have a gray button, and the gray button is used for backup. If suppose you want, this robot is on and you want to turn it off, go on hitting this guy here till you see the sign on this one here off, then hit orange button, then it will turn off. Now, there is a screen right here, small screen that we call it as the LCD, that is the digital display. Now, we are not sending any information to the screen, right? But you can also use and display some information if you like. You can also use that screen too, but we are not using for that. Okay. Now these are basically the same information, whatever I told you, that we have a microcontroller. Microcontroller has a memory. We have a port right here. We have some power. Definitely it will be connected. The display has 60 times 100 pixels. These are technical information we don't need at this time. Now everybody knows that USB cable that you will interface with the computer, that will do it tomorrow. Now we also need some connector cables connecting sensor with your NFC brick. So one side right here will go to the sensor. The second side right here will go to NFC brick. When you connect the cable, it looks like something like this one here. Once you will do the connection, it looks like something like this. That is, this one is a touch sensor, this one right here is ultrasonic sensor, and these are basically motors. It looks like exactly the same way. These are default values. So the default values right here will be here. So port 1 is a touch sensor, port 2 is a sound, light sensor, and ultrasonic sensor. You can change the setting if you like, you can change it. But if you want to use the default, then we'll stick with the same setting. That is 4 will go here and the first will go right there. Now definitely we also need more parts too, right? So what other parts we need? Definitely we need the beams to connect to the component. 1 by 16. So the sizes will be given. You can also see that 16, it means there will be 16 buttons on the top. You can count that. 12, there will be 12 buttons right there. But you need basically small beams too. You also need some components too, that is axle, rod, and connectors. You also need that one too. We also need basically gear. You know, there's a lot different kind of that. Whatever you need, you can pick it from the box. Then you also need small connectors. And then definitely we need a wheel, right? Without wheels, you know, it cannot walk. So we need that one too. So if you will take all these parts and connect them together, then what you get? If you connect everything together, you come up with this guy here. Right? You connect everything together. This is a simple one. It's a very simple one. But if you want to use your own imagination, you don't like this one, you want to create something new, then you can use your imagination. Right? Use your imagination, whatever it comes, you can just design that one too. Okay, so it depends on you, that whether you want to stick with the same one that I have right here, straightforward. If you want to stick that one, then you have to follow basically some steps. So what I should ask you, that we'll make a team of two, and you will be given a box, and you will follow in the box. We have basically a manual, so read the manual and just finish 17 steps within 45 minutes, and you are done. Any questions?
All right.
So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get ready. Oh, the boxes are right here. So why don't we make a team of two, and we can sit down here.